And thank you for joining us. I'm Rochelle Murcia.
And I'm Dave Gonzalez. Today, Donald Trump's running mate, Mike Pence, was in town. We'll get to our exclusive interview in just a moment. But first, breaking news to tell you about here at the top of the hour. Kern County Sheriff's deputies are on the scene of a shooting off of Weed Patch Highway.
Eyewitness News reporter Tom Murphy is live there at the scene with the very latest. Tom?
Well, good evening, Dave. Good evening, Rochelle. And I'm on the scene of Doney Street right now, the scene of a deadly shooting. At least one man is dead, and Kern County Sheriffs are looking for another man at this time. And here's what we know so far. If you take a look at what we have going on, there is a heavy law enforcement presence right here. I counted over 10 patrol cars just about 5 minutes ago. And what we know is that at least one man was shot, and if you take a look at where the bulk of those officers are right now, that's where an argument started just before 3 o'clock this afternoon. It was two men. The argument then turned physical into a fight, and that's when one of the men was shot and killed. Now, we don't know the name of the victim right now. We just know that he was a man in his 20s. We also don't know the identity of the suspect, but talking to the Kern County Sheriff's Office, it sounds like they have a pretty good handle on who the suspect is. The suspect drove away from the scene and is still out there, but they do think, based on some witness testimony that they got, that they have a pretty good idea of who the suspect is and that they'll be able to find the suspect and make an arrest at some point. We're still trying to figure out exactly what led to the argument, exactly what led to the shooting, and we're also trying to figure out the relationship between the suspect and between the victim. But for now, as you can see, there's still a heavy law enforcement presence. Kern County Sheriffs are on scene. Homicide investigators are on scene as well. We'll continue to be on scene as well. We'll give you updates as much as we can on BakersfieldNow.com. But for now, from Doney Street, right off of Weed Patch Highway, Tom Murphy, Eyewitness News. Dave and Rochelle, back to you.
All right, Tom, thank you. Well, as we first told, and thanks for joining us this evening, I'm Rochelle Murcia.
And I'm Dave Gonzalez. Today, Donald Trump's running mate, Mike Pence, was in town. We'll get to our exclusive interview in just a moment on that, but we have breaking news here. The Kern County Sheriff's Office says that a man has been killed in a shooting north of Lamont. Eyewitness News reporter Tom Murphy is there live at the scene, getting the very latest for us. Tom?
Dave and Rochelle, I can tell you that homicide investigators are still on scene here at Doney Street. It's right off of Weed Patch Highway, and a man was shot and killed about 3 hours ago, and we're trying to figure out exactly what happened. Here's the information that we know so far. That man who was killed was about 20 years old, in his 20s, according to the Kern County Sheriff's Office. And apparently it started as a verbal argument. It turned physical, and then that's when another man shot and killed this victim. Now, over the last hour or so, we haven't gotten any new information, but I can tell you, as homicide investigators have stayed on scene, the other people that have come to the scene have been members of the neighborhood, and more importantly at this point, members of the victim's family. I watched as apparently the father of the victim went over and walked over to law enforcement and said, "Hey, that's my son, I'd like to identify him." I spoke with another member of the victim's family who said, you know, when are we going to be able to identify the body? So there have been a lot of tears, there have been a lot of hugs, a lot of consolation, and a lot of raw emotion out here on Doney Street. So we have a lot of questions. We're still trying to figure out exactly what led to this argument, and we're also trying to figure out what's the latest on the suspect. The suspect is apparently not in custody at this moment, but Kern County Sheriff's Office officials do think that they have some good information based off of witness testimony. So we'll keep you posted, but for now, from Doney Street, I'm Tom Murphy. Dave and Rochelle, back to you.
All right, Tom, thank you.